My guest this hour simply goes by the letter V. He admits he is a conspiracy expert, but also is convinced that the NSA, that stands for National Security Agency, is monitoring millions of Americans and foreign individuals and groups that are of a security risk interest to them. Now, before I introduce him, let me say that I want to put in a little plug for some donations. I did this at the top of the hour. And listen, we need some funds here, and I implore you to think about sending KROV 91.1 FM a donation. Nobody gets paid here. This is all volunteer. Not one dime goes to any of the staff or any of the programmers. We simply just want to keep up on our bills, and lately we haven't been getting that many donations. So, don't let the show die, okay? We've got a great program here. You got any kind of jargon you want to listen to. Just a small amount will do. I mean, you don't have to give us, overload yourself, $5, $10, $20, and if you got it, $50. Or if you got an old car sitting out there, an old boat, anything that's worth money, go ahead and donate it, okay? So that's my plea for you guys. Now, let me read this here. It's the opinions voiced on this program do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KROV, its staff, volunteers, founders, underwriters, or board of directors. Okay. Now, it's important that I thank some of these sponsors, because they've been so kind and so generous into being underwriters for this show. First one I want to thank is Jerry's Market and Liquor, located at 2257 Oro Ponte Highway. That's just right up the street from the station. That's in Orville. Their phone number is 530-533-1780. Jerry's Market and Liquor is a variety grocery store that also sells bait and tackle. They are open Monday through Saturday, 7 a.m. until 11 a.m. and Sunday, 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. Thank you, Jerry's Market and Liquor, for supporting community radio, KROV 91.1. Tree of Life. Now, they've been a sponsor for a while. They're located at 1875 5th Street in Melito, California. Their phone number is 530-533-8498. Tree of Life is run by a licensed contractor and a certified arborist. Contact them for more information on how they can help you. Thank you, Tree of Life, for supporting community radio and KROV 91.1. Now, don't forget to send in or bring in that donation, okay? So, right now, I'm going to introduce my second guest for this morning. And I told you that he believes that the NAS, which is National Security Agency, is monitoring millions of Americans and foreign individuals and groups that are of a security risk interest to them. Now, he simply, like I said, he simply goes by the letter V. And he asserts that some of these individuals and groups are of such interest to them that they are implanting RFID chips or monitoring them by EMF waves, which is an electrical current that people have in their bodies. And all these acronyms here we'll explain to you. Now the chips, he says, are put inside by operatives. Maybe they're dentists, maybe they're doctors. Anybody that has access to your bodies. Once this chip is implanted, there are literally hundreds of ways to monitor or exterminate the subject. Okay, I've given you the basics of this NSA monitoring. Now we go to Mr. V, who says he has been victimized and is recovering from continued psyops effects that were perpetrated on him. Okay, welcome to the show, Mr. V. How you doing today?
Making it through. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Yeah, you know, it's a pleasure to have you here, really, because it's very, very interesting. It's got all the elements. It's controversial. It's interesting. It's eye-opening. It's informative. It's entertaining. So tell me this. What would you like to accomplish this morning by coming on my show? Now, this show, I mean, if you what you are saying is they're all over the world, and this show goes all over the world. So I you know, what is it that you want to accomplish this morning?
Well, I hope to accomplish reaching out to all the confused, targeted individuals out there and educating the nation on the rogue psyops program being perpetrated on them. So it's being perpetrated on American activists, patrons, whistleblowers, by the NSA for the purposes of mind, population, and gun control.
Okay. Can you explain what a targeted individual is?
Well, a targeted individual is someone under the psychotronic weaponry attacks or electromagnetic spectrum harassment tools developed by the Department of Defense for electronic warfare, which is now being used by our government intelligence agencies for supposedly counterintelligence.
Okay. Are you a targeted individual?
Yes, I'm a targeted individual. I have been subject to what's called voice to skull. Voice to skull is a terminology for these psychotronic weapons that put voices into someone's head via radio, radar, and microwave frequency. That is a pulse beam that goes straight to your auditory cortex in the middle of your brain, completely bypassing the ears. Only you can hear it. You know.
How long? I don't mean to interrupt you, but how long has this been going on?
For myself personally, it's been going on for about 9 months.
Okay, that's a relatively short time. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, and you've done a lot of study on this since then, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Quite a bit.
Okay. Can you tell us some of the techniques, and what is it for? So what is the technique and what is it for?
Well, the D2K, well, I'll throw my personal experience into this. I receive auditory commands, threats. I'm subject to lots of slander, continuous put downs, continual demands that I get a gun and kill myself or kill another individual.
Let me just interrupt you right there just for a second. Is that other individual someone you know or just somebody at random? I mean, do you get the full message?
Mostly it's they'll say, well, we're your neighbor. If you want to do something about it, come and kill me.
Oh,
It's placing someone into it that has no involvement into it. It's all like I said, it's agenda for gun control. That's what I think.
Okay.
Like the Navy Yard shooter.
Yeah.
He had a carving inside on the outside of his shotgun. Said, "This is my ELF weapon."
Wow.
And he went and supposedly killed a bunch of people who thought were responsible for his torment.
Okay.
So it's a technique called psychic driving. It was developed in the early days of the CIA's mind control. experiments known as MK Ultra. Again, like I say, the purpose of that is to have someone be so under duress, so tortured that they want this harassment to stop. And they will go after anyone who they think is responsible for it.
Okay.
And there you have your bloody atrocity, and there you have your gun privileges taken away.
So when I read about celebrities claiming that this phenomenon, this technique is being used on them, and then I guess the pressure is so bad, or the thoughts are so bad that they turn to drugs. The drugs kill them, and it's either labeled as suicide, but or they just overtook took too many drugs. Now, in reality, if it was true, and I don't know if it is, but if it was true, they were forced into the situation. Am I right?
Well, you have an element of pharmacology, which the CIA used a lot in the early days. Development of LSD makes it a lot easier for them to break the subject's mind. You have all kinds of examples of the medication these days. You have to fit a certain profile for this to even work anyways, but you have examples like, Sandy Hook, Virginia Tech shootings, again, the Navy Yard shootings. People were being labeled as disturbed. And trust me, yeah, they were disturbed. They
not
were
mentally
being disturbed by the NSA.
Yeah.
And it's an atrocity.
I
you would
agree.
know that the National Security Agency would be working against the people that they're supposed to protect.
Right. I can think of two that I believe somebody told me, or I read about, and one of them was Kurt Cobain. He overdosed, and another one that complained about it was the Talking Heads. Now, if you think back, there's several of them. Janis Joplin. It could have, it could have been that. Jimi Hendrix.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of them.
We can't have anybody singing about peace and love.
Right.
Especially when the CIA saw the Vietnam War not as a military defeat, but a morality defeat, because people in our country at the time didn't want war. They wanted peace.
Exactly. Can you give us some example of the effects? I know there's a lot of effects of NSA Cyclops. Psyops, I'm sorry. This is new to me too. Now, I understand. Can you actually read your thoughts through? How do they do that? They go through the cortex or something?
Well, let me say that the NSA has full satellite capabilities. You want to look at Project Tempest. Also, they have anything from nanomachines to RFID chips that relay complete visual and audio that can be put anywhere into your environment or into your body via food, water, or medicine, thanks to Obamacare. But the latest and most effective way the NSA can track and control you is by the manipulation of full electromagnetic spectrum, including radio, microwave, ultrasound, infrasound, X-rays, and gamma rays, all of which can be encoded subliminal, auditory, and visual hallucinations, or, well, behavioral modification. Or they can use these frequencies to cause DNA, RNA breakdown, and killing you with cancer and other genetic diseases.
So
I mean, why do you think lead paint is illegal when cancer is on the rise?
Yeah.
You know, they don't want anybody to have any kind of protection from this.
It is true. They don't want to cure cancer, do they? There's just too much money
Cancer is a
involved.
multi-billion-dollar industry. The entire medical industry would collapse if a cure came about, which there have been many cures that have come about, like ASIAC, or I believe the so-called quack Hoxie. He's had a few clinics here, and he cured people with cancer. Now he has a clinic out in Mexico because he can't operate in the United States.
Their resources must be far advanced than the average person resources. If they can do this, their computers and all that other stuff must be so much better than ours, so much more powerful. Is that am I on the right track there?
Well, the NSA has the absolute best computers, the best of any technology out there. They've developed a way to map the human brain using, I'll shorten and say EMF, for electrical magnetic field or frequency waves. They can even do it through EEGs. So as far as I know, through my research, every American citizen has had their brain mapped and stored in a system. In the system, every brain has a number and can be dialed up and tracked to be engaged in dialogue via V2K or whatever methods they choose to use for interrogation or psychodriving. Terminologies are all over the place. They can do this via brain to computer, which means you have a telepathic communication between yourself and an artificial intelligence, which usually does psychodriving. Or they have a brain-to-brain link using EMF signals. It's called synthetic telepathy. If you really want to get technical, it's neural remote monitoring. They have access to all of your thoughts and all of your memories. It's basically the ultimate invasion of your privacy.
I would think so.
You have no privacy anymore. No one in America has any real privacy.
They can track you wherever you are.
They know everything that you know.
Yeah. Wow. And even your thoughts.
Your thoughts.
Goodness sakes, man. That seems like it's a Buck Rogers type thing. And what if somebody wants to say to you? That
Science fiction becomes science fact, but these days science fact is being shown as science fiction. So anybody's a quack who would talk about this stuff.
Yeah. Have you had any encounters with people who just blow you off and think that you're schizophrenic or whatever? I mean,
well, the news and I listen to a lot of guerrilla radio. I listen to media that isn't controlled by the government. I listen to a lot of sources for information. I have to these days.
Yeah.
But in the news recently, it came out that the NSA had the ability to hack any offline computer
Hmm.
via radio waves.
Offline.
Which is offline. That means you don't have to have a Wi-Fi device. You don't have to be plugged into a router. Your computer can be hacked into and taken over via radio frequency waves.
Wow. Wow. And where was this? Where did you read this? Or I mean, was it a published
I
article?
believe on the it was a website called the Danger Room.
Oh, okay.
Might have been even in the Examiner.
Okay.
It's all over the place. You can look it up. But which is old technology. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah.
The NSA. But with more of this coming out, and the more technologically advanced we get, you know, I can tell people, you know, I can give them the short version of the story, and they just say, "Wow, that makes a lot of sense."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, this day and age, anything's possible through technology.
I would think so.
So, I would say most people I talk to believe me.
Okay. Now there's a fella that explains. You know, we just have myself. I can just ask so many questions because that's all I know. But isn't there a website where they can go to, and this guy will in 9 minutes explain what we're talking about? I mean, to get more information. Do you have that website or not?
I currently do not. The guy's name, his name is Thomas something, but I do have a lot of reference websites and terminology.
Okay. All right.
If I can go through those.
Oh yeah, sure.
If you people, ladies and gentlemen, would like to grab pencil and paper if you're interested, because you don't have to take my word for it. You can look all this up yourself. The research is the key. A list of websites that I would recommend is, we'll start with mindjustice.org, obamasweapons.com, surveillanceissues.com, stopeg.com, satelliteterrorism.com, stopmkultra.com, stopcyborg.com. There's a lady who actually was a part of research. She was a researcher and a guinea pig of this technology. She gets way in depth with it. I would actually like to plug her on YouTube. On YouTube, her name is Solaris Blue Raven. She has a video called Covert Technology and Synthetic Telepathy. Video was posted on November 5th of last year. She really gets in depth. A lot of things she said escapes my understanding. But it's really not all that hard to understand in the bigger picture of it because it's happening and it's out there. Some terms that you people might want to look up is NSA, remote neural monitoring, signals intelligence, electromagnetic weapons, electronic warfare, NSA Tempest, Echolarm, NSA PSYOPs, directed energy weapons, targeted individuals, synthetic telepathy, psychotronics, and scholar waves. I mean, You would be amazed at how old this technology actually is. I mean, the KGB,
Yeah.
talking about weapons that are killing off politicians, you know.
Yeah.
They can be miles away, shoot off a little quote-unquote death ray, and a politician will have a heart attack right there in the middle of a meeting.
They had a movie here a long time ago. It was called The Manchurian Candidate. Is that related to this?
Absolutely.
What's in your pencil?
No, yeah, Manchurian Candidate. A sleeper agent. Basically, the MK Ultra project is, they had these experiments on how to control the mind. A lot of things they used were trauma-based control. Like, for example, they had a doctor named, I think it was Dr. Joseph Mignola, and there were children in the study, and he would dress up as a bunny rabbit, read them stories, and in general be really nice and sweet to the children. And at later points, these children would be subject or to witness ritual murders of little bunny rabbits. You know, trauma.
Yeah.
They use post-traumatic stress disorder to break a person's consciousness, break up their minds to create separate personalities. Each personality could be programmed, turned on or off by what's called a handler. And that's why we have the society that we have now. The violence on television, violent video games. We are a trauma-based culture right now. It's easy to be subliminally programmed, psycho-driven to do certain things. They're using that right now, like I said, for gun control.
Yeah. Do you believe we inherited or got any of these techniques from Germany during the experiments with them doctors?
You're talking about Project Paperclip. In my opinion, this is the Fourth Reich that's coming up right now. Project Paperclip. Thousands of German scientists were taken in Germany, and were taken to Cape Canaveral and several other air force bases, one in San Antonio in particular, where they were working on microwave technology. So before they got here, they did have this weaponry that had an acoustic cannon that could literally shake a person apart from the inside. We don't hear about this weaponry because we found only one in the war that was captured. Others were destroyed. They weren't used so often because they were easily damaged. Any kind of damage to it, the machine was inoperable, so it's not an effective weapon to use.
But they did some horrific say lobotomy with no anesthesia, and just to find out what that effect would have, or they went clear under the cortex or whatever.
Well, you're getting into all the other conspiracies. Yeah, any way to control the mind. lobotomies were used to make them docile. The Nazis used fluoride in the water. Now, listen to this, people. The Nazis used fluoride in the water to make the Jews in the concentration camps docile. So when they didn't want to fight back, they'll try to escape.
Wow.
Guess what's in our water supply?
Chloride. A lot of it in a pool, huh?
Any kind of chemical they can get in you, they will.
You know, down in San Diego, you know what they had? A program. It was called Tap to Water.
Mm-hmm.
They would take your water that you flush down your toilet,
Mm-hmm.
and they would run it through a cleansing, well, say machine, you know, cleansing part, and they would deliver it back into your tap. Now, who would drink that stuff, man? You know they can't get it all out of there.
That'll be better than what's in your tap water now.
I refuse, man. Yeah.
Well, that's sort of the thing that techniques that the CIA used. You know, they would CIA, NSA, they would drug your tap water. They would replace pipes in your system that were already loaded with these drugs. And
but my point, I think, was without those experiments in Germany and whatever, you have to know what is inside below the cortex or whatever to know how to formulate some type of electrical current. Wouldn't you have to know how to do it first, or what it is first, and then build something to monitor? You just can't. You have to know what a carburetor does in order to beef it up or something, right?
Well, they had machinery for that. They had computers. In the MK Ultra project, it's very common to have a patient or someone being experimented on have their head split open and a brain computer chip put in there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So necessarily they didn't have to do that in order to get the information they needed.
You don't need it these days. See, they have what is computer simulated language, which the artificial intelligence uses. Each area in your brain fires off. It becomes more active, firing off neurons. Whenever, say speech, you say dog, a certain area in your brain will light up. Say cat, a certain area in your brain will light up. So, by this alone, there could read your minds before this technology came out. The current remote neural monitoring. They've mapped the entire human brain. Everyone's brain is different. Everyone has their own brain chemistry, which makes it easier for them to be covert about the harassment that they do.
Yeah.
Each person has a tailored torture or monitoring program for them. They essentially can clone your brain from a computer, simulate it, and send it back at you.
Wow. So is a symptom, one of the symptoms, is that people talk in their sleep? Now, the reason I ask this is because if you've ever slept in a dorm with a lot of people, I swear there are 3 or 4 people in there that will always talk in their sleep. Is that a symptom?
Not a doctor now.
Yeah.
But I do know that through voice recognition, The NSA has your voice logged, recorded and logged, and through surveillance, let's say you're somewhere halfway around the world, you're in another country, you're shopping somewhere, and they're on a manhunt to look for you. If you spoke anywhere near a surveillance system, they got your location right then and there. Now, if you're the kind of individual who is aware of this technology, they can, in fact, make you talk. Because you could be silent and try to hide yourself from everyone. They can make you talk in your sleep, like sending subliminal hallucinations, artificial dreams via radio wave. They can send this radio wave all the way around the world.
Wow.
Okay, satellites and everything. Okay, and make you talk in your sleep to get your location.
Can you tell us some of the things that they're doing to you? I know it's personal, but some of the things that you've encountered and you figured out, well, they're really not a coincidence. You know, this is...
There's no such thing as coincidence. Not when dealing with this.
Yeah. You hear voices, I understand that.
Yeah, well, I came to the understanding that the voices in my head were not mine. I'm not crazy. I have my emotional disturbances. Anyone else, that kind of makes you a target for one. Anyone who's had psychological medications before makes you a target. I realized that through communicating with these voices, telepathically, there's no one really there. I mean, I get the same messages repeated over and over and over again. And it's just computer language. It's a computer trying to predict what I'm going to say or taking my thoughts as I'm thinking them, saying them to myself before I get a chance to think it in my own head. It's all to drive me crazy.
Yeah, and your computers, don't they mess with those?
Oh, my computers get hacked all the time. If I'm using a program, let's say, I have a game I like to play, Minecraft, cute little game. I like to play.
I could have guessed.
I like to play it to, relax a little bit sometimes, and I hear voices say, "Oh, well, we're bored of looking at that. We can't play that anymore. My game will suddenly crash."
Oh wow!
I try to bring the game back up. Crashes before it can load up every single time.
Wow.
Now this is done. I've experimented with this. This is done on every personal computer and laptop I've had access to. Files go missing, programs corrupt. I try to record an incident that goes on. The file cannot save. Basically, my entire operating system is replaced with fake operating system files. That way, anything can be terminated at any point.
Yeah.
And still.
I think they're messing with you.
Oh. But if I get on let's say a government computer, like if I go to a library or cultural center, anything that gets government funding, nothing ever goes wrong.
Oh, is that right? You don't hear any commands or anything while you're at that station?
Because I'm not taking this lying down, I continue to do my research, and I've conquered the whole psychic driving thing. I'm a little bit on the, I'm a little bit bizarro. You know, I take things the opposite way. If somebody tells me I'm stupid or I can't do something, guess what? I'm gonna learn it and I'm gonna do it.
Right. Right.
So,
My mom would say that's headstrong.
I'm completely headstrong.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, and so, I mean, the most that happens then, you know, people that know me understand that, yeah, if this was an artificial intelligence trying to break down my mind, I broke the programs there. So, at that point, it's just, I get a lot of begging. Please leave it alone. Please leave it alone.
Yeah.
Don't research that. Don't research that.
Yeah.
Please don't tell anybody about this. They're going to think you're crazy.
Did they tell you not to go on the show?
They're telling me that I'm making people angry right now. Yeah. I should get out of the room and
oh, is that they're telling you that right now?
Right now.
All right.
So.
Tell them you got another half an hour.
And it's just, as far as computers go, like I said, my computer's destroyed. I can barely get some programs to work half the time. I can open up my task manager, my program monitor, and I'll see these random programs that have nothing to do with anything, no purpose whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
I can try to delete them, but something called Entrusted Scholar, which is a hacking program, takes over all of my files. Anything I'm trying to do, take ownership of my files. If there's a virus, malware on there, I can't erase or delete it because Trusted Installer will take ownership of it.
It just seems like one thing after another, right?
Yeah,
it must be a burden trying to keep up with
crazy, so I can do something incredibly stupid.
Yeah. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the things that you can protect yourself with? Now, I noticed that sometimes people have aluminum over them when they sleep, or something will be wrapped. Maybe the phone will be wrapped with aluminum. What does that do?
Well, I'm still researching all of the protective measures for this. As far as I can tell, the aluminum, that idea is disinformation. It actually makes your antenna at that point. It becomes a bit stronger.
Oh, okay.
But there are several approaches to this depending on the level of harassment you're getting. If you're getting microwave or radio frequency hearing, Faraday cages are expensive to make. Some people make Faraday box, so to speak. They put their beds inside of it and they sleep that way. It's kind of like a giant coffin. Which seems to be, really extreme just to get away from, this harassment that the NSA, is putting on people right now. You have your RF clothing. You can look this stuff up online.
Yeah, they just Google it in, right?
Yeah, you can Google RF protection. Actually, you have some other information here. Other links. Well, to go back while I look at this information, I will come up with some telltale signs of being a target individual. If you have any kind of vandalism to your property that you actually cannot explain, that might be one. Because they'll have operatives in the field to make sure that there are certain things going on around you to let you know that you're being stalked, that you know that you're being watched, that you know that you're being targeted. So, another telltale sign of being a targeted individual is cyberbullying. What's been happening with me? They'll record your communications, cell phones, Skype, anything like that, hack your computers, and you'll have failing electrical devices altogether. Me, myself, I cannot have an MP3 player per se unless I have it wrapped in an electromagnetic covering, like RF pouch or any shipping protective material. That's the stuff that normally come in. I believe they have these pulse weapons that they can knock out any electrical apparatus or device or machinery that they want.
Yeah.
I've had my vehicle disabled many times. I'll have somewhere important to go to, and all of a sudden my vehicle no longer works.
You're keeping you busy.
Yes. The entire electrical system will be okay. In the middle of the night, I could wake up and happen to look out my window, and my lights are on in my vehicle. I can go out there and check. All my doors are closed and locked. Why are my lights on in my vehicle?
I don't know.
Yeah. Things like that. I've had to disconnect the light bulbs inside my vehicle just to keep my vehicle from draining. They can turn on any electrical device that they want.
If this is happening.
Circuitry is like it's open for. They can open and close circuitry via radio waves.
They don't seem to have any conscience, do they? If this is really happening.
You have your psychopaths. Psychopaths make it to the top of the ladder because they'll do anything to get to the top. They have no empathy whatsoever.
Right.
Power corrupts, and if you have to be a psychopath, you don't have to worry about that because you're already corrupt.
Right.
And so, but yeah, like I was explaining earlier, we have auditory hallucinations, coercions to get you to do certain things, especially to harm people, threats, constant put downs, and you have this stuff, this auditory conversations and communications going on in your head, and you take schizophrenic medicines, medication for schizophrenia, and the medications do not help. That is the dead telltale sign of being targeted. I myself am 28, about to be 29 years old. Natural schizophrenia comes along preteens to early 20s, from 20, 21, 22. You don't develop schizophrenia past that age.
That's a telltale sign.
That's a telltale sign.
Yeah.
If you have tinnitus in your ear, and you don't have any real reasons for the injury, like standing next to a speaker at a concert or a blow to the head, hearing gunfire next to you. If you know those have happened to you, you shouldn't have any tinnitus. I myself, I have tinnitus. I believe that they're using some kind of ultrasound for the tinnitus because my right ear, I'm virtually deaf now. Any headphones I get, any earplugs I get to listen to music, that headphone, that earplug that's in my right ear ceases to work after 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
So I go through a lot of headphones
Yeah,
just to be able to listen to music.
Going my way, man. So you're okay.
Well, I'm sorry. I have a few more.
Okay, no problem.
Another telltale sign would be random burns that are inflicted on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Not by yourself, but you wake up in the middle of the night, you have some burns.
Yeah.
You take a shower, you notice you have some weird markings on your body.
Mm-hmm.
You've been burned. You get some electrical shocks in your sleep. You jolt yourself awake. Sort of seems like you're in the middle of shock therapy. You fell asleep. Yeah, it's that sort of thing. Sleep paralysis in itself is
I don't know what that is.
It's where you wake up mentally. You're awake. You're physically awake, but you can't move. Your body is still asleep. You cannot move or anything.
Wow.
And extreme loss of short-term memory. Now, I mean, if you have a brain injury or a drug problem, that's one thing. But if you don't have any of those and you have no short-term capacity, then they are.
I'm not confessing to anything.
There really is no such thing as ADD. And it's just people having their brain scrambled.
Yeah.
And there's really no such thing. And if you're an adult and you're having nocturnal emissions, whether you're sexually active or not, that's them stimulating you in certain ways. I know of lots of reports of targeted inhibitions for females that report they're being handled in their sleep, so to speak.
Yeah.
So these are all telltale signs of being a targeted individual. Now to go back to your question of protection, I have some websites that people should visit.
Okay.
And let me change the page.
And there's also some videos too, right?
You go to YouTube, you can find almost anything on YouTube these days. Type in targeted individuals. Type in these terminologies I told you, which I will be going back over again later.
Now,
okay.
Like you said before, just don't take your word.
Don't
do research.
I'm standing on my soapbox right now, and I'm speaking like these because I'm wiping my hands clean of blood. Because people have died from this in the past, killings, lots of killings, suicides. But I'm gonna say I sat here and I told the truth.
That's right. You're going public.
I'm going public about it.
It takes great courage to do that.
It's called EMF shielding. It's a general term that you'll find online. You can go to lessemf.com or emfsafetystore.com. TrueEMFsolutions.com. Ramays.com is RAMAYES.com. And these are just to name a few. As far as protection from, there are just so many different levels of harassment and how they can include it for what purposes. So protecting yourself, getting complete protection. It's going to be very expensive.
Yeah.
I'm about ready to the point saying, forget it, I'm just going to get some lead paint.
And paint yourself?
Huh?
Paint yourself?
Yeah, I'm thinking about making some lead paint myself. But
No, I
they
mean,
can come and find me all they want.
What would you do with the lead paint? Where would you put it? On your car, maybe?
That's a conversation for another day. I haven't even gotten that far. But I do know materials that help in protecting you. Silver. You know, there's been a lot of government grabs for silver and gold.
Yeah.
This stuff is important for absorbing and reflecting these radio frequency waves, microwaves.
Yeah. Now, if you were walking around the street and you were completely red, with red paint from head to toe, you would protect yourself, but I mean, people would really wonder then.
Well,
maybe you could wear red.
The technologies are so invasive. If one technology doesn't work, then they're going to use another one.
Yeah.
It's possible to protect yourself from all of it, unless you're in a compound underground.
Yeah. Well, how about a suit? Could you make a red lead painted suit?
I am personally going to be developing what I can.
Yeah.
I have a position in the machine shop. I'm going to Michigan here in a couple of weeks.
All right.
I'm going to get materials together. I'm going to be creating a RF protection equipment and shielding for computers. I'm sorry, but the NSA has no right to look at my computer and see what I'm doing without some allegation or even, there needs to be some due process. These people are trying to take out the American Constitution, Bill of Rights, human rights. They don't care anymore. They want full, complete control.
Did you wonder why they picked you?
Well, the purpose of the artificial intelligence that harasses me is to also interrogate me. And I've since then flipped the script, so to speak. And I've been getting information from the AI. And from what I know, they've been watching me since I was very young. They say we've been watching you because you're intelligent and you're rebellious.
Yeah.
I'm headstrong, so.
Right. These insults that you get, do they come from family members also?
That is a part of the AI modulation that the brain's computer that I have is that they will simulate anyone's voices that are influential to me. So I'll have family members speaking to me. They'll use family members' voices, neighbors' voices, anyone who is in my life, and portray that these people are angry with me and they want me to go away.
Well, instead of the voices, do they come up to you personally? Like your mom or brother?
Well, I'm here in Florida because my girlfriend of 6 years is here. I'm here with her. I love her very much. But I am away from my family. She's back in Texas. So I figured out that the more I talk to certain people, the less and less they can use those voices because the stories they say can't be possibly real, verified.
Yeah.
The voice I get the most is my brother's, who is in prison and I can't speak to. I have no way of speaking to him right now. I haven't had any way to speak to him for several months. So they're constantly trying to torture me and give me commands using my brother's voice. You know,
You seem to be handling it pretty well, though.
because I understand it.
Yeah.
Understanding is power.
All right.
And people, if something like this happens to you, you start hearing voices, the most powerful word you could ever use is no.
I'm coming straight to you if I start.
Well, that is something I want to do eventually, is start counseling people. Because the evil, you understand the evil of this operation.
Yeah.
These people will use this auditory, I call it auditory blasphemy, because they will come in the name of God. They'll say, I'm God, I'm Jesus, I'm Allah, whatever your faith is.
Mm-hmm.
And they will try to control you in that manner as well.
Okay.
This is straight out of the Bible. These are the false prophets.
Okay.
This is the Antichrist system, in my opinion. People, what's happening to you, target individuals. This is what's happening to you. Okay? This is not something supernatural. This is not ETs. This is not God. This is not some extra-dimensional entity. What is happening to you is from some intelligence agency, which there are several that uses worldwide. They're trying to control you. They're to kill you or control you.
Wow. So some of these people that have said, God told me this, it could be possible that it's not God at all, and that it's the NSA.
I would put every coin in my pocket, every chip on the table, and throw it in the pile, because that's not what's going on. God will speak to you through your heart, through your intuition. Okay. You have to listen to your intuition. Okay? God gave that to you. It's not going to come as some voice in your head. Sorry.
I don't know if they realize this or not, do they? Well, I know, I like the big preachers, you know, Billy Graham and Robert. God told me to do this.
Well, that's a part of the whole MK Ultra setup. They've created these death cults. David Koresh. These cults and these cult leaders, and they hear these voices, and they have these mass suicides. You know, that is what it's all about.
Maybe another example would be Jim Jones.
Jim Jones, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is what it's all about. Now, they're mimicking this stuff because, you have to use your most powerful institutions. Religion is probably the most powerful belief system, indoctrination there is in the world.
Right.
So they're going to use religion to control you or to kill you.
Yeah. It is I mean, for somebody who is religious, it is they are on the fast track because they've already believed, that God is speaking to them. So you don't have to convince them. And that's a pretty smart idea, really.
Well, it's taken me quite a few months actually to explain to my mother what is going on with me.
Yeah.
My mother is a devout Christian woman. She's at church half of the week. I hear it's the devil. Yeah, well, you're pretty close.
Yeah.
They want to be the devil, you're pretty close. Well, these are your Luciferians. These are your psychopaths.
I was going to say they're pretty close if it's true. You know, they're pretty close.
So,
all right. You know what? We only got about 5 minutes left, and
may I go through
you can
terminology?
you can do anything you want. Sure.
People, I would love for you to do your own research. Okay, I'm just telling it on the mountain. You have to do the work yourself, and you believe what you want to believe. But I'm telling you the truth.
We are the messenger.
Again, I would visit myjustice.org, obamasweapons.com, surveillancesissues.com, stopeg.com, satelliteterrorism.com, and again, look up these terminologies: electronic warfare, NSA Tempest, NSA remote neural monitoring. I'll say it again: NSA remote neural monitoring. NSA PSYOPS, which was leaked by an NSA consultant by the name of Will Filler, who feared for his life, and he believed that releasing the NSA PSYOPS manual to the public will still protect him.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, you got your Edward Snowdens out there all over the world. He's my inspiration. I'm trying to do work with people.
All right.
So,
well, you know what? It's a fascinating topic. It really is, and it's not the last time that you're going to hear from Mr. B, because I'm inviting him back, and I really appreciate you coming, man. I mean, it takes a lot of courage. I can tell. I just tell by listening to him, and you know, it does. It takes a lot of courage to come up there and talk like this, and so I give him all the props in the world, man, and respect him. Again, thank you for coming.
thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, man. And if it was on television, you could see me shaking his hand. So again, this is the Gorham Report. I hope you enjoyed today's show, 2-hour show. I had a candidate on, Diane Brown, who's running for assessor, and B, who's I would say a messenger, you know, for people that believe they are targeted, and gives a lot of good insights. I mean, very depth. And it's up to you now to go visit those sites. And if you're feeling any of these symptoms, you know, if you hear voices, if things are just not, you know, you say, well, that's a coincidence. Well, if we're look, you know, search it out. Okay. So until next Monday. Next Monday we have another guest, a political guest. And I don't know what my second guest will be, but it's the Gorham Report, and don't be surprised if it's something that will you know, push your button or just fascinate you or entertain you. That's what I try to do: entertain you, and inform you, and just have you enjoy an hour or so of good radio. Okay. So until next week, I wish you a happy week, and listen, be good to others as they would be good to you. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what it says. And here's a quote I like. Don't judge the speck in somebody else's eye when you've got a log in your eye. You know, I really like that. So anyway, I'll see you next week. Goodbye.
All right, good stuff.